I feel I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
For going up, I believe he can put a beating on anybody 154, 160.
TerenceCrawford just went off on Canelo Alvarez live on air, clearly stating why he believes he's the superior fighter. Crawford acknowledged that while Canelo might have the advantage in size and power, he himself holds the edge in speed, reach, and, most importantly, skill. He confidently claimed that the opponents Canelo has defeated in the past weren't as strong or as skillful as him. Though he meant no disrespect to them, Crawford made it clear that his motivation comes from the doubts people have about him moving up to fight Canelo. He recognized Canelo as a great fighter, but emphasized that it's his pure boxing skill, precise technique, and adaptability that set him.
Speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
Would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out, from Kirkland to Amir Khan to just...
Don't
obviously,
I'm just saying, man.
No, but he's not. Kovalev.
Kovalev was older.
He
does. Don't get me wrong. He does have a lot of power, but all those guys that you name is not as skillful as me. I'm sorry. No disrespect to none of those fighters. The skill level is not there.
So how do you see a fight with Canelo going?
It's a tough fight. Canelo is a great fighter. Like, I always had respect for Canelo, but I just believe in my skills. The fact that people doubt me, it just fueled me even more. Try to get the fight even more. And I'm watching him, I'm like, man, I can beat this dude. I've been fighting people bigger
shared
than me
his
all my
thoughts
life,
on the potential showdown between TerenceCrawford and Canelo Alvarez.
He gonna get hit too.
Highlighting the contrast in their fighting styles and what it would take for Crawford to come out on top. According to Mayweather, Crawford holds the edge in terms of skill, but Canelo is a dominant force in his weight class, making the challenge significantly tougher. Crawford would need to fight a near-perfect bout to secure a victory. One key point Mayweather emphasized is that both fighters are aging, and at this stage in their careers, it's uncertain when either might begin to decline. While both remain among the top pound-for-pound fighters in the
Crawford. I mean, skill-wise, I give him, I think he's a better fighter than Canelo, but Canelo is also a great fighter but he owns that weight class that he's in. So I would just say that I think that Crawford has to fight almost a perfect fight to win, and take advantage of Canelo's.
Mayweather sees a clear path to victory for Crawford, rooted in his superior skill set and ability to capitalize on Canelo's mistakes. He also acknowledges that it could be a razor-close fight, where Crawford might edge out a win by decision or just as easily lose by a narrow margin. The challenge of moving up multiple weight classes is significant for Crawford, but if he can maintain his speed and precision while absorbing Canelo's power, he has a legitimate shot at victory. Ultimately, the outcome would come down to execution. Canelo's experience at higher weight classes gives him a physical advantage, but Crawford's boxing IQ and adaptability could help level the playing field.
And I mean,
if the fight happens, it promises to be a fascinating...
possibly winning the fight by decision, but could also lose a close decision.
Both Team Teddy Atlas offered a fascinating perspective on the potential Crawford versus Canelo showdown, highlighting boxing's rich history, where smaller, more skilled fighters have sometimes outmaneuvered bigger, stronger opponents. He pointed out that many are beginning to believe Terence Crawford could be that rare small fighter who beats a great big one, reminiscent of the old school days when catchweights were more common. Atlas questioned whether people might be viewing Canelo's size advantage the wrong way. Instead of treating it as an insurmountable obstacle for Crawford, he suggested the key to victory might lie in Crawford's intelligence, slickness, and speed.
A really great small guy.
Could Crawford be too quick,
big guy,
too smart?
We were getting into that mind frame again. Some people were saying, "Oh, Canelo's too big, forget it." But we were getting into the right mind frame, the right with this great, sweet science, with this sport that goes back longer than any other sport in the world, where catch weights used to be in the 20s to 30. Little guys beat big guys, and it wasn't that unusual. So we were starting to get into that frame of thinking. Okay, can this great guy Crawford, can he, instead of looking at it as a disadvantage that Canelo is so
The analogy Teddy Atlas used was powerful. Boxing, he said, shouldn't be like bullfighting, where the matador inevitably slaughters the bull.
Slick,
sometimes even the bull has a chance to outmaneuver the matador, however rare that may be. That's what made the idea of this fight so intriguing. People were beginning to believe that Crawford could defy the odds. However, Atlas also expressed a note of frustration with the sport itself, hinting that just when boxing builds real excitement, something always seems
bull ring and then wait until the matador puts a spear in. It's supposed to be about the bull actually having a chance to outslick the matador, which don't happen too often. So now we were starting to get into interesting grounds. Okay, people were buying into it. Yeah, this okay.
Conor Benn's take on the Crawford vs. Canelo matchup highlights just how razor-thin the margins could be in this highly anticipated fight. Ben believes Terence Crawford has the tools to dominate. Anyone between 154 and 160 pounds, thanks to his elite skill set, adaptability, and exceptional ring IQ. However, when it comes to Canelo, the equation changes. Unlike most opponents, Canelo isn't just powerful. He's highly skilled, experienced, and battle-tested against some of the best fighters in the world. Ben is essentially saying that while Crawford's skill gives him an edge over most in that weight range, Canelo presents a different kind of challenge. Canelo has proven he can handle slick, technical boxers and has the power to change the course of a fight with a single punch. Crawford, on the other hand, isn't known for overwhelming power.
I believe he can put a beating on
a master technician.
Anybody 154, 160.
But not 68.
Nah, Benavidez is...
Canelo. Yeah.
Oh, Canelo. I think he's a smart fighter. He doesn't rely on his power. Crawford ain't a fighter who just relies on his power. And then Canelo, you know, when he's fought Belenga, then fought Ryder, Munguia. It's even. I think we're 50-50
Joe
fight.
Rogan
Crawford fought
praised
Canelo.
Saudi Arabia's growing influence in boxing, emphasizing the pivotal role Turki Alalshik has played in bringing elite fighters together for matchups fans have long been craving. He acknowledged that Saudi Arabia has elevated the sport by making the biggest fights happen, cutting through traditional obstacles like promotional disputes and network conflicts. Rogan also expressed strong belief in Terence Crawford's ability to defeat Canelo Alvarez, dismissing concerns about weight classes. In his view, Crawford's skill level is so elite that it can overcome any physical disadvantage. To Rogan, boxing isn't just about size and power. It's about technique, precision, and strategy. He believes Crawford possesses all of these at the highest level, making him more than capable of handling a bigger opponent like Canelo. Crawford has consistently shown the ability to adjust to any style, outthink his opponents, and execute flawless game plans in the ring, while Canelo is a proven
of the elite boxers, to a man, to every one of them, they're disciplined. Yeah. And they stay focused. I'm so excited to see this fight with Canelo Alvarez because I think the Saudi Arabians have so much money. They're throwing so much money at boxing. And the guy who's the head of boxing over there wants to make that fight happen. I think Terence Crawford, forget about the 3-weight classes. I think he could beat Canelo.
Hearn shed light on the complexities surrounding the potential Canelo versus Crawford fight, pointing to scheduling as a major hurdle. He explained that while an agreement for the fight was in place, it wasn't finalized in time for a May date, Canelo's preferred window around the traditional Cinco de Mayo weekend. With limited options available, Canelo shifted his focus toward becoming undisputed at 168 pounds. Hearn acknowledged that a fight with Crawford would be even more monumental if Canelo enters as the undisputed super middleweight.
Because Crawford's undisputed at 47 and 40, and he could become.
Edgar Berlanga shared his thoughts on the potential Crawford versus Canelo fight, emphasizing that in boxing, anything can happen. He acknowledged that Crawford is already a legend in the sport, known for his exceptional skill, intelligence, and adaptability in the ring. Berlanga made it clear that Canelo's only real advantage in this matchup is his size, as he's naturally the bigger fighter, something that could influence the fight. However, when it comes to boxing fundamentals, Berlanga believes Crawford holds the edge. He praised Crawford's technical ability, sharp ring IQ, and overall skill set, suggesting that Canelo doesn't have a clear advantage in those areas. While recognizing Canelo as an elite fighter with vast experience, Berlanga views Crawford as more complete in terms of movement, precision, and fight strategy. His perspective reinforces the idea that size alone doesn't determine the outcome of a fight.
Just from your expert opinion,
according to Berlanga,
fights, what he's like in the ring. I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that anything can happen in boxing. You know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that his weight.
Yeah.
And that he's more bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing. But as far as skill set wise, IQ, I feel like Crawford can match anybody and probably do way better. You know what I'm saying? But Crawford is a legend, bro.
Yeah.
And like I said, you can't.
Stephen A. Smith weighed in on the idea of a fighter moving up 3 weight classes, gaining 21 pounds, to face Canelo Alvarez, calling the move far too drastic. He drew a vivid comparison to Rocky IV, where Apollo Creed steps into the ring against Ivan Drago, a physically superior opponent in every way. This analogy underscored the steep challenge and potential mismatch that can occur when a fighter takes such a massive leap in weight. Just as Apollo's fight with Drago felt doomed from the beginning, Smith's comments reflected a similar skepticism about the practicality and fairness of the Crawford versus Canelo matchup. He implied that it might be more spectacle than sport, more cinematic than competitively balanced. In the same breath, Smith addressed Terence "Bud" Crawford directly, advising him to let the idea go. He characterized Crawford's pursuit of the Canelo fight as unrealistic, perhaps even a dream that's simply not meant to be. Despite acknowledging Crawford's immense talent, Smith suggested that he might be better served by focusing on challenges
Crawford
within reach
should move
rather
up
than
3 weight classes and 21 pounds to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jamel Charlo already proved that. Y'all remember that scene from Rocky? Remember that scene from Rocky 2? When Carl Weathers was Apollo Creed and his trainer was like, can I be honest? I saw you beat this man within an inch of his life. And he kept coming. He wouldn't go away. He's wrong for us, baby. He's wrong. Let it go. Paulo couldn't do it and lost fight number 2. Trained him for fight Rocky 3 and then got killed in Rocky 4 by Drago because he couldn't let it go. Bud Crawford needs to let it go.
Froch
Too small.
recently shared his thoughts on the upcoming Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez fight, and he didn't hold back. Froch pointed out that Crawford, who has built his career fighting at lightweight, would face a monumental challenge moving up 3 weight divisions. He believes this presents a significant issue for Crawford, noting that the jump from lightweight to super middleweight isn't just about facing a bigger opponent, it's about dealing with the considerable size difference. While Crawford is 37 years old and Canelo is 35, Froch highlighted that both fighters are nearing the end of their careers, which could affect their ability to adjust to the weight change. As fighters get older, it becomes harder to shed weight and perform effectively at a higher weight class. However, Froch clarified that this isn't the main issue. Crawford isn't struggling to cut weight for this fight. Rather, the real problem lies in the lack of a rehydration clause. Without this clause, Canelo, who will weigh in at 168 pounds, will likely rehydrate overnight, potentially entering the ring weighing over 175 pounds, roughly 14 stone in British terms. Froch emphasized that Crawford wouldn't have the same physical advantage, as he would be facing an opponent who is not only heavier, but also likely more powerful due to the weight gain. This
2 or 3 weight divisions, for me, it's a big issue. He's not a bigger man. I mean, he's 37 years old. Canelo's 35. They're both sort of at the end of their careers. Crawford, I'm not going to say he's old, so that's going to be a major problem, because as you're older, you do want to step up the weight divisions because it's harder to take weight off. Neither of these guys are taking weight off, so that's not an issue. But there's no rehydration clause, and the issue with that is, for me, is the fact that Canelo can weigh whatever he wants the next day. So he's going to get down to 168 pounds super middle, and he's probably going to be getting in the ring way over 175 pounds, the light heavyweight limit. He'll be up at, like, in English money, it's going to be up at like 14, maybe towards 14 stone. And there's no way that Terence Crawford's going to be that heavy. He's going to be coming up to 168, and he'll only be